Daniel Gros is Director of the Institute for European Policymaking at Bocconi University. Thank you very much for joining us. So what is behind this latest jump in inflation, do you think, after 6 months of consecutive falls?
It is most probably just a statistical effect, because last year the energy prices have made big jumps up and down, and that is now reflected 1 year later in the annual increase of energy prices, which has become less negative than before. And that's why the headline inflation rate, which incorporates energy prices, has gone up a little bit. But the underlying inflation that we can calculate taking out energy and food, that is still going down at more or less the same pace as before.
So that underlying core inflation going down, that will be music to the ears of many people in the region who are looking at these inflation figures and worrying about their mortgage rates and inflation and interest rates. When do you see the European Central Bank beginning to cut interest rates?
I think it will be at best towards the end of this year, 2024. Because the ECB has to look not only at underlying inflation, but also at headline inflation. Who knows where that will stand in 6 or 9 months, because we don't know where oil prices will be going. And that's, I would be very cautious to predict rate cuts. After all, the ECB was wrong in being too late, and they recognize that now. I don't think they want to make that same mistake a second time.
And if we could zoom into Germany for a moment, inflation there accelerated to its fastest rate for 3 months in December. What's at the core of Germany's economic troubles?
In this case, Germany is behaving much like the Eurozone. In the case of Germany, the underlying or core inflation rate has also continued to come down. It's again a question of volatile energy prices that distort the headline index. But I think in Germany, we see in this particular case just the average of the euro area.
And so what is your outlook for the Eurozone this year?
I think it will be, again, another period of very slow growth, because Europe is just not a very dynamic area, and all we can expect basically is it revert to the trend which we already saw before the COVID crisis 3 or 4 years ago, meaning an area which grows perhaps 1 to 2% per annum, but at very low inflation rates. And we are going back to that, let me say, pre-war normal.